Welcome to Oilers Nation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
You want a new goalie. Stuart Skinner has a .942 save percentage, and you want a new goalie. Let's get into it with the lead. I present to you the list of goalies who have played 2 or more games this year with better save percentages than Stuart Skinner. Thatcher Demko, Jussi Saros, Jeremy Swayman, and Igor Shesterkin.
Well, they've played 2 of those goalies so far.
Oilers have played 2 of those goalies so far. They've also played Dustin Wolf, who's a pretty good goalie himself. Yeah. A beautiful performance by Stuart Skinner. Another win for the Edmonton Oilers. And amidst all the freaking out, oh my God, we blew it against this team isn't going to be good. Oilers have points in 3 straight to start the season. We're feeling good. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday. We are live from the Sports Closet studio. Their newly renovated Kingsway location is back open and ready to go. And just a reminder that they are now carrying the new alt jersey, both in store and online. The show is a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. We got a banger of a show lined up. Not only are we talking about an Oilers dub, got Jeff Marek joining us in about 10 minutes time. We got David Pagnotta at 1 o'clock to finish off the show. So our friend Jeff, our insider, David Pagnotta, giddy up.
Good Wednesday.
It is a good Wednesday. It's a great Wednesday.
A wicked Wednesday.
Spooky.
Spooky.
Halloween's only 16 days away, Liam.
I know. I saw a great costume yesterday.
What?
I can't tell you. It's going to be a surprise.
You saw or thought of?
I saw one.
And you're going to copy it?
No, I'm going to buy it. I was at the store and I saw a costume I wanted.
Thought you saw someone in a costume. I was like, this is exciting.
I think I'm buying my costume tonight. I have a Halloween party this weekend.
So do I. But rumor has it I don't have to dress up for it, which seems a bit weird.
Then it's not a Halloween party.
Thank you.
But I also, I'm glad I asked because I was under the assumption, and I texted the host and I was like, hey, how hard are we going on costumes? And he's just like, I don't think anyone's wearing a costume.
I think you should still wear one.
Yeah, always. Are we going to wear costumes? Because Halloween's on a Friday, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll be.
So we'll all be costumed up.
Yeah, we'll wear costumes again.
Good.
What did we do? You did Charlie Brown one year?
Yeah, I was Charlie Brown.
I was a cat last year.
I was a stormtrooper last year.
I was a pimp.
You were a pimp.
I was Santa Claus one year.
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear.
Jay was the...
I'm not telling
Ricky
you.
Bobby.
Yeah. But he wasn't at first. You remember he switched?
Yeah, he switched. Dress up as Gary Bettman, the scariest character of all time. We might not have a hockey team in Edmonton if it wasn't for our old boy Gary. So you put some respect on his name.
I respect Gareth. I don't respect his schedule maker. Did you see what else was dumb about the schedule on Monday?
It's a long season. There are going to be days where the schedule's just dumb.
But did you see what it was? So I've always, you know me, you guys have heard me. I've pushed for a better Thanksgiving schedule for Canadian teams.
And you got it.
For Canadian Thanksgiving. We got it, ish. So there was 2 games on Prime. But then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't see any on Sportsnet that I had to pay for, that I didn't have to pay extra for.
Yeah, correct. There was not a nationally televised game in Canada.
And there wasn't one Canadian versus Canadian matchup.
Yeah.
The 12:30 p.m. game, the first game of the day, was sorry, that would have been 10:30 our time. Was Buffalo, Colorado.
Classic.
In Buffalo. It's not Thanksgiving there.
It was Columbus Day, though.
What, did they have the day off too?
The day off.
Okay, sorry, I did not know that. Okay, fair enough then. I'll let him off for that. But still, that's so stupid.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Jeff Marek's going to join us in a little bit, which means we are going to jump right into our game recap from last night, and it was another good one, a 2-0 win for the Oilers. Our game recap is brought to you by Greta Arcade, Bar, Street Food. Our first watch party, or our season opening party. Our season kickoff party is tomorrow night at Greta. You're going to be there?
I will be there, and I hope you're there too, folks, because we've got a hell of a night ready for you down at Greta.
Pump it up.
Free entry, a jersey giveaway, some other stuff I forgot to read. A
signed jersey
giveaway.
Here's a hint: the real bread man. Does that
a Brett Holden jersey?
Brett Holden.
Anyways, tomorrow night.
some ticket giveaways too. So not only a hockey game, but also a football game.
Hut.
And also,
who's the mic?
Give me your hard count.
It's
later.
free.
Snap count.
It's a free event.
It's a free event. It's tomorrow against the Devils, who don't play the Devils. They play the New York Islanders.
Yep.
The Devils on Saturday. I got excited because Markstrom's out. That's good. You get to watch Romanov versus Emberson.
Hey.
JG Pagnotta versus Connor McDavid. And an epic Edmonton victory. Really? You can do that at home.
Yeah. If you're coming to the watch party tomorrow, Edmonton versus New York, in all seriousness, we are going to have a great time. Signed jersey, nation gear, bunch of really, really good prizes. So let us know in the YouTube chat if you're coming.
In support of the Ben Stelter Foundation.
As always. Bang. Did you guys see? They did a video yesterday.
Yeah,
of
that was
stuff.
sweet.
Yeah. Jeez. Great cause. Hopefully, please come out and support it with us.
Anyways, let us know in the YouTube chat if you're coming to Greta tomorrow. Also, there's going to be a baseball game on tomorrow.
I thought you were going to say a baby there.
There will not be a baby there. Babies are not allowed at Greta, 18 plus.
I think I've seen a baby inside Greta before now. That
When we did they make special exceptions for our Ben Stelter watch party,
for
our brunch for Ben. But anyways, we're going to have a great time tomorrow. We want to see you all at Greta.
You guys are going to pre and post with me.
Oh, yeah. That'll be exciting. And I'll be there watching baseball, watching hockey. It's going to be a great time.
I'll be there.
All right. Should we giddy up, get into this game recap real quick, and then we'll get to our friend Jeff Marek. But game recap. Saturday, the score was flattering to the Canucks. The Oilers could have, what's my quote? Belt the ass. They smoked them. They should have won 6-1. Yesterday, the Oilers probably could have lost that game 6-2 if it was not for the man between the pipes, Stuart Skinner. He made not one, not two, not three, not four, 5, 6, 7 really, really good saves. He was their best player, head and shoulders above anyone else in a blue and orange jersey last night. And it's good to see that he had this bounce back in him off of, again, a disappointing season opener because of that one mistake. But the fan base was out to get him, and he stood tall and delivered. Like, man, if he can do that more, that's why I don't stop believing in Stuart Skinner. Because that high end that he has, and he is 26 years old, I choose to believe that goalie is in there, and that goalie and that level can be attained by Skinner more often than not.
I agree. I think we saw a lot of positives from him yesterday too. Like certain things were happening where it's just like, I haven't actually seen you do that for a long time. And one thing was obviously the lateral movement that people have spoke about a lot was a big thing for him. He seemed to be a lot quicker post to post. Obviously, there was a story, take it for what it's worth, of like he lost some weight over the summer. Yep. Maybe that's helping him out a little bit. But not only was he able to get side to side a lot more, but I found out he was staying like very tall in his net as well when he was pushing across. And a lot of pucks were hitting him in the right spot. And hey, like maybe this goalie coach has helped him out a little bit over the summer as well. But very promising. And even the home opener, like I put out the tweet last night being like, it was a great bounce back effort. And someone called me out, and I think they're correct when they say it's like, it didn't even really bounce back from a bad game. He bounced back from a poor mistake. And I 100% agree with that person. I can't remember your name at the moment, but good for him and we've always known this about Skinner. At least it was really publicized last year too. Like he doesn't really listen to what any of us have to say. Like I think he genuinely does like block everything out.
I think mentally he's developed into a very strong goalie. Like even when he gives up bad goals, he is never angry. And can I just add something on that? Like body language front that I loved last night. He was fired up when his boys were blocking shots in front of him. And the Oilers blocked a lot, 23 in total. They did do a good job getting in the lanes. And I mean, they kind of had to because they were hemmed into their own end for a lot of that hockey game. But like there was a Henrique block in the second period where Skinner took like 5 strides out of his net to go give him a whack on the old behind.
And it's good. It shows a bit of unity, right? And even at the end of the game, wasn't it Ekholm, I think, dove right in front of one as well. Nurse has been pretty solid at blocking some shots too throughout the season so far. And hey, they're doing this without their best shot blocker in Jake Wellman. This was a nutty save. But also, too, like
Sam Carrick looking like goddamn Wayne Gretzky.
Honestly, the thing that made me laugh about this in a way is just like, he definitely overcommitted one way, and I think he was a bit lucky to get his glove on it. Not to like discredit him, but like that's a very unorthodox save. But the bad part last night for the New York Rangers, if we want to get into that too, is number 39 was their best player. And that's not a good thing for them.
No?
No.
Sam Carey, they signed him to a 3-year deal. That's good pro scouting.
And not to discredit those three, too. I thought their whole fourth line was actually really solid.
It's great.
I think when you look at a guy like Matt Rempe, like, I think you need to give him, what do they call it?
Kudos.
Tip of the cap?
Tip of the old chapeau, Liam.
That guy came into the league and was just trying to fight everyone every minute he was on the ice.
Yeah.
Now he's out there and he's actually making plays. He's playing hockey.
Frontal lobe is developing.
Yeah. Frontal lobe is fully exposed, I guess.
Not developed. If it was fully exposed, he'd be dead.
Really?
The frontal lobe of your brain.
Not the earlobe?
No.
Oh, gotcha. He's doing well. He was good.
All right, I want to get to a comment from Derek. He said, trade for Dobish and Goalie from Montreal or Wool from Toronto. Skinner has to go while he has value. Derek, I mean this in the nicest possible way. That is idiot comment. That is an idiot comment.
Who is that guy?
That is a dumb thing to say. That is stupid.
Say? Dobis?
And Goalie, get the defenseman too.
I'd take Goalie.
Yeah, the defenseman the Habs just signed to like an 8-year deal.
Who's Dobis?
Their backup.
Really?
No, you don't want a backup goalie who had like 5 good games last year and then got exposed for not being able to stop high shots. You don't want that guy?
No, I'd rather just keep playing.
But Derek wrote it in all caps.
Come on, Derek.
So, I mean, the all caps thing, that makes you think. Stuart Skinner was unbelievable last night. That's my whole point. Yeah, giddy up. Oilers have a point in every game to start the season.
Because they're a really good team.
They're a really damn good hockey team. And everyone who looked at this roster and was like, it's the worst roster McDavid's ever had. Ugh. People were just...
Dominic Cahoon was his line mate for a couple of years.
Buddy, I once got so excited for Ty Ratty, I traded William Nylander for him in my fantasy hockey league. Don't tell me this is the worst roster Connor McDavid's ever had.
The other positive part, if we want to take it as a positive...
You did that? That's great.
Oh, yeah, I remember when you did that. The Oilers are struggling to score a little bit here. And I think in the first 2 games, they created a lot of chances in game 1. Fell apart a little bit in game 2, but it was still like a decent offensive performance, I would say. Game 2, Demko was unbelievable. Like, it was hard to beat him. But yesterday, what they hit? 1 or 2 posts, or maybe just 1 or 2, whatever it was. Yep. Like, they need to score a few more goals, but hey,
no power plays yesterday.
It felt a little nuts, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought Draisaitl drew one at one point, like whatever.
I thought so too, but they did well.
Yeah, they did well.
They showed the defensive side of things too.
And again, like if you're going to be an elite regular season team, you need to have wins like this, where it is not just, you cannot get 50 wins in a season, which would be a great number for the Oilers to get. You are not going to get there if you can only win when Connor and Leon each get 2 points and you win 4-3. Like, you need nights like this where guys lower in your lineup, and we'll talk later on in the show about Freddie and Savoy. They both had really, really good games. Matt Savoy's legit.
He's very good.
He is a top 9 winger right now, and I'm so excited to see where he's at by the end of the year. I think there is a different conversation to have about Ike Howard, and that does tie into our first guest, who we're going to talk to about Howard and Roslovic and a whole bunch of different stuff. Let's go to the Star Mechanical guest line. It's Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about what makes them Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company by visiting them at their website, starmechanical.ca. Jeff Marek is the man you see on Daily Faceoff every weekday with the sheet. And Jeff, I want to start with something from last week's appearance on the show. You came on and you didn't even say it really as a rumor or reporting, but you whispered the name Tage Thompson. Honestly, you might have just said someone whose name sounds like Tage Thompson, and it's basically all this fan base has thought about in the last 7 days.
I don't think the Oilers fan base is the only fan base having trade fantasies involving Tage Thompson or Alex Tuck or Rasmus Dahlin, or take your pick of Buffalo Sabres. And by the way, I don't know that it's going to happen, but tonight has all the makings of something juicy with the Ottawa Senators in town alongside Dylan Cousins. And then later on this week, the Florida Panthers with Sam Mertz, and we all know a trade history there. But yeah, it's an uncomfortable conversation with Tage Thompson with the Buffalo Sabres, but nonetheless, it's not as if people in the industry aren't talking about this, and it's not as if you couldn't. I mean, there's only so long that Tage Thompson is willing to sacrifice prime years of his career for what's happening with the Buffalo Sabres. And I don't think it would be selfish for Tage Thompson to say, look, if it's going to be heading into another rebuild, like there's only so many rebuilds you can expect a player to give in his career. 1, okay. 2, no chance. Careers are too short. You just can't do it. So Tage Thompson's name is sort of whispered out there. I don't know that the Sabres have gone to him or he's gone to the Sabres, pulling the Denis Lemieux. But I don't think that, as we like to say, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. I don't think it's beyond the pale to see, Tage Thompson, if things don't turn around, and Tage Thompson having some awkward conversations with the Buffalo Sabres management, whoever that may be. The thing that I opened my show with yesterday is, preseason conversation. If things go bad, I was talking to someone, if things go bad for the Buffalo Sabres, I can't see Kevyn Adams making it past Thanksgiving. What I didn't ask this person was, do you mean American Thanksgiving or Canadian Thanksgiving? But that's where we're at right now with the Buffalo Sabres. And here's another one. If things continue to spiral with the Buffalo Sabres, does Edmonton check in on Alex Lyon?
He's been doing really well for them to start the year, and I do remember in free agency, it was obviously a bit, we call it a week of class. There was no legit name out there, right? But Oilers fans did show interest in Alex Lyon as a fit here.
I think that would be probably more plan C though. Connor Ingram, the Condors made their roster moves today, so we're going to see Connor Ingram play hockey at the AHL level next week.
I want to see him this weekend. I think I don't know if he get is Bakersfield playing twice this weekend. Yeah, I don't know if he'll get both games, but I'm really curious to see how Connor Ingram looks this weekend for Bakersfield. Absolutely.
Also, the Oilers have a 5-on-5 save percentage that is 6th best in the NHL. Oh. Who has a goalie problem?
It's weird, eh?
Not
you
us.
Can outdo a Ottinger consistently.
Yep. It's crazy.
I was just going to say the one thing, Jeff, that's funny about Ottawa and Buffalo this week is obviously there was a trade. You mentioned Cousins. Josh Norris is out for 8 weeks, and Jacob Bernard-Docker does not play for the Buffalo Sabres anymore. That trade just looks so bad.
That's the thing about, that deal, too. Let's not forget, too, it wasn't just that they traded, Dylan Cousins. They also sent a second-round pick.
Yeah.
This is the one that's got us all sort of baffled. Yesterday on the show, I showed this clip and I love what the Buffalo Sabres have done this for years. They do a really good job of it, doing these behind-the-scenes videos. And it was trade deadline last year where Kevyn Adams brought in Josh Norris. And so they're showing all the video of the conversations that Kevin is having with people in the organization and that he's having with Terry Pagula, the owner of the Buffalo Sabres. And after he talks to the medical director of the team, the same medical director that wouldn't allow Jack Eichel to have his ADR, artificial disc replacement surgery, instead insisting that the Buffalo Sabres would only allow spinal fusion to take place. That led, even though he had already traded, it really did sort of create a chill between Eichel and the Buffalo Sabres. Essentially furthered the deterioration of the relationship between the two sides. Eichel finds his way to the Vegas Golden Knights and wins the Stanley Cup, as we all know. But in the video, I went back and watched it yesterday. I had to play it on the show. I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. He says to Goalie, Kevin does, I spoke to our medical director, who says he has, quote, 0 reservations about Josh Norris and his health. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on podcasts. But I think he may have been the only person who didn't have reservations about Josh Norris, right? If you go look at how many times this guy make it through, and I'm not making fun of Josh Norris. He doesn't choose this, but he doesn't make it through seasons. That's his story. He gets traded and he plays 3 games and he gets injured. Plays 1 game and he gets injured. As someone pointed out, Norris has played 4 games for the Buffalo Sabres and only finished 2 of them. So that trade, heap that on the sort of, disaster trades that are the Sam Reinhart deal. I still think the second round pick for Beck Mallenstein, which turned into Cole Hutson for the Washington Capitals. At some point you gotta say stop. Right? How many? I will give Kevyn Adams a kind of pass here on the JJ Peterka deal. he was not going to re-sign with the Buffalo Sabres. And I did like it's going to be tough to replace the 30 goals, but still, like, they're a more well-balanced team. I'll give them that. Like, I'm not going to look at that trade go like, oh, Kevin Adams blew it. I don't think that Kevin Adams blew it on that deal at all. But man, it really has been a history of poor trades, and that is why we were wondering, last season in that disastrous palm trees press conference from Kevin Adams. I think we're all is he perhaps gun shy now after essentially helping the Florida Panthers win 2 Stanley Cups, helping the Vegas Golden Knights win a Stanley Cup. Like, the history of the Buffalo Sabres is like they hand players that are the final pieces to teams to win the Stanley Cup. Ryan O'Reilly with the St. Louis Blues.
I was going to say, it goes back 7 years.
Man. Yeah, so like we're looking at this game tonight. Jersey's hit the ice last time. Fire Kevin Chance at KeyBank. Dylan Cousins has already been there once, so like it's not like the Nick Alberga revenge game. Here we go. But you can really see Dylan Cousins sticking it to the Sabres tonight. And that build, I don't know how many fans are going to be there versus how much they announce, but it could get really ugly early on this one. And then the question becomes, here's the thing that I wonder about. I know I'm getting long-winded here, but I've thought a lot about the Buffalo Sabres. I'm sure you can tell. If they're going to have one firing, are they going to have 2? Like, if they're going to replace Kevin Adams, are they also going to replace Lindy Ruff? And could those 2 be, Ty, as I mentioned with you and Hutz yesterday, I believe it was, could it be Jarmo Kekalainen, who's already there, bringing in a former Buffalo Sabre assistant coach, John Tortorella?
And Torts, who was, wanted to be more involved in that Philly kind of front office and the way they were building things. It'd make sense if he took that kind of a job. We'll talk some Oilers, but I'll end with this. Get-in price on Game Time for Sabres Senators tonight is $9. Oh. You can sit lower bowl row 3 for $33.
Damn.
Value.
It's $15.
$15 you can take a shift on the power play. That's bad. Don't kick people when they're down, Marek. That's bad.
That's such a good line. All right, let's talk Oilers. Jack Roslovic.
Ike
I
Howard.
was a little bit surprised when this news.
Can I say one thing about Ike? Can I say one thing about Ike Howard?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
A lot of solo missions from Ike Howard.
Yep. Guy loves
I love him offensively. I love him offensively. There's players coming back now, right? There's players coming back. I think this guy's going to be an excellent player in the NHL. I think it's probably the right move to say it's time for some time at Bakersfield. Like they have a player number crunch coming anyhow, but just watching that yesterday, it really really becomes apparent that passing at this is an issue.
And Johnny and Colby kind of had this conversation the other day too of if you have a prospect like the Rangers have in Noah Laba, where we view his ceiling as a third line, fourth line guy, we're going to keep him in the NHL because he's playing that role well, and that's where we're going to develop him. Like having Ike Howard play 9 minutes a game on your fourth line with no power play time, that's not doing any good for anybody. Like that's a guy, and Stan Bowman had the line earlier in training camp of we want guys to get called up once. And I think if they were healthy, Howard probably starts the year in Bakersfield and they bring him up. But yeah, the organization probably hits a point here in the next week where they just go, you know what, you got to play 20 minutes a night.
And that's fine. Yeah. I think that outside of superstars, you guys have heard me bark about this before. I think everybody should have some time in the American League. A, learn how to be a pro. B, it's like the defensive finishing school for the NHL. It's your sort of last moment of polish before you play the pro game at the very, very top level. I think so, more specifically for defensemen than forwards, where it is easier to walk into the NHL. But my default is always spend time in the American League. Even if look at what the Islanders are doing with Cal Ritchie. It's pretty obvious what they're doing here, right? Go down, he's going to play first line center with Bridgeport. Rocky Thompson's the coach. And if he just rips it up in 30 games, guess what? You force Matthew Darche to make a decision with Jean-Gabriel Pagnotta. And boom, that becomes Cal Ritchie's spot. But you've done it the right way, right? And he's played for those 30 games or whatever it is, go tear up the American League, and then come up and force your general manager to make a difficult decision. But you can see that path, right? It's setting up there for him. Do the same thing for Ike Howard. It'll pay off. The kid's so talented. But NHL's hard, man, and not a development league.
The Condors are actually not bad either. It's not like he's just going down there and he's going to
struggle
to score goals. Like they've got some decent players now. Still, Bowman did a good job of bringing some Europeans over and making things happen there, I think you could say. But I wanted to ask you about Jack Roslovic, because I guess what do you make of the fit of him in Edmonton? Is obviously that weird no trade clause that kicks in November 1st. Do you think that actually means anything to add on to that?
No, the one thing that I wonder about with Roslovic is, well, first of all, let me back up here. Became really obvious yesterday, and I know it's the Rangers, and they've struggled scoring at home. And I know it's a road game, so you kind of are forced into doing this more so than at home. But Connor and Leon separate have been better than Connor and Leon together this season. Like it's the right thing to do. And then with Jack Roslovic, you have the chance somewhere down the road here to and this is where we see teams dine out, and this is where you win cups, to dine out and really load up on a super third line. Like, you guys are a lot closer to it than I am. Do you feel the same way? Like, the minute they got Roslovic, all of a sudden it's like, ooh, you got the potential to put the pieces together for a really strong third line here. That's kind of how it felt to me.
Yeah, and I'd be intrigued. And they moved Frederic back to center last game. I thought he had a really, really strong night at MSG. But I think they have a chance to kind of do something with the duos. And I don't think Roslovic's a guy who can particularly drive the offense, but obviously a very strong 5-on-5 offensive player. Like, if you sit there and go, okay, we got McDavid with Hyman, we got Roslovic with Draisaitl, and then you build a third line that's Nuge and Mangiapane who've looked good, or Nuge, Mangiapane, Savoy. You're right. Like, you all of a sudden have a top nine where, like, it's tough for teams to game plan against that.
You know what's good with him being with Edmonton specifically? One of the knocks against Jack Roslovic in his NHL career is he hasn't always brought it every single night. And that's why I love the signing, because you play on a team with Connor McDavid, it's like playing on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, they set a work rate for everybody that if you don't do it, the team takes care of it, right? Like, no, this is how we play. And that tempo and that pace is all set by Connor McDavid in Edmonton, and it's set by Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh. That's why this is a much better environment to get the best out of Jack Roslovic than other places where you don't have that tempo setter, right? If you can get Jack Roslovic, because the talent has always been there, right? I mean, we talk about players the same way we talk about people, or we talk about jobs that exist in two states, either potentiality or actuality. We've always talked about Jack Roslovic in terms of potentiality. And this might be his best chance at potentiality into actuality. And I think a lot of it is going to obviously be set by Connor McDavid. That's why I think it's a good fit. If you're going to get the most out of someone like Roslovic, you're going to need to have a pace setter on that team, and that kind of leader, and that's Connor McDavid. Does that make sense?
I mean, totally. And I even think, like you said, like that's how you get cups. You look at Florida the last 2 years, and I know we can sit here and talk about goaltending till we're blue in the face. I still go back to Game 7 2 years ago. They lost the game 2-1. If you score 3 goals, you have a Stanley Cup.
I'm not gonna listen. I'm one of those people that doesn't believe there's one specific way to win a Stanley Cup. Now, the one consistency with Cup teams, though, is you have to be able to defend. Right? Like, you have to be able, if you're going to win a Stanley Cup, you have to be able to defend. But I've never been one of those people that's like, this is the way we win Stanley Cups, and this is the only way, because we've seen so many different teams. Like, go back to like the beginning of the salary cap era. Like, the first team to win the Stanley Cup out of the 2005 lockout were the Carolina Hurricanes. How'd they do it? Foot speed. The next team to win the Stanley Cup, the Anaheim Ducks. How did they do it? Brian Burke loaded up with like lumberjacks. And it was all of a sudden became about, nuclear missiles and playing tough and all these types. There's no one way to do this, and you need a lot of luck along the way, and you have to have like a plan that works, and you have to stay healthy, et cetera, et cetera. But I always remind myself, there's not just one way to do it, and that's why I think, and this is maybe where you'll look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and say, I don't know if this is the right way to go about this, which is, it seems like the Maple Leafs are trying to out-panther the Panthers. And there's only one Florida Panthers. Like, I know they want to get tougher and more playoff, but like, instead of leaning into you a great team, You say to yourself, you know what, we need to be more like them because they won the Stanley Cup. You just chase, as opposed to leaning in what makes you great. Because I'll tell you what, if it's the Edmonton Oilers winning the last 2 Stanley Cups, no one's talking about old school toughness in the NHL. And they were, 1 game 1 year, and to your point, Ty, a couple of shots away in another year from winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Jeff Marek, you can find him on the sheet. You had Rick Tocchet on today.
Talk was great. You know what we got him to commit to? Something. Huh? This is like for the real hockey nerds. So I took him in the Wayback Machine to 1992. And there was a game when he was with the Pittsburgh Penguins that Wendell Young and Ken Reggett, Scotty Bowman was a coach. So the last game of the season, the goalies executed a goalie change on the fly. It was a game against the New York Rangers late in the game, and Wendell Young and Ken Reggett changed on the fly. The puck went down to the Rangers zone, and the goalies changed. Now, Rick was on that team. We talked about it. We had a good laugh, and I said, Rick, will you commit now? If the Flyers win a playoff position in Game 82, it's a game against the Montreal Canadiens, you'll let Sam Ersson and Dan Vladar change on the fly. And he said yes. So now the Philadelphia Flyers have become, I don't cheer for teams, but now the Flyers are my favorite team. I want them to make the playoffs because I want to see goalies fly. We haven't seen it since 1992. Scotty Bowman said that he saw, it would have been either Toe Blake or Dick Irvin do it with the Montreal Canadiens with Charlie Hodge and who else? With Jacques Plante in the 50s. But it is one of the rarest creatures. Roger Nilsson would do it in Peterborough. But it's one of the rarest things you will ever see in hockey. And Tocchet said, if we're in a playoff position, our goalies have the free pass and the go card to change on the fly. I'm dying to see this happen in the NHL. Dying to see that happen in the NHL. You can, of course you can. It's a player change.
That's crazy.
Just never thought of it. I'd love to see it too.
Yep, it's happened. It's happened in the NHL. 92 was the last time.
I love it.
Did you guys talk about Michkov at all? Anything on Michkov with Tocchet?
Yeah, he talked about the sort of sensitivity of allowing that player to be creative, yet at the same time playing smart. And actually, he mentioned Connor McDavid. He said something along the lines of, if it's late in the game and there's 4 guys on you, that puck goes deep. He said Connor McDavid does that. There's 4 guys on him lately. The puck goes deep. Like, that's just the way that it has to go. We cannot afford a turnover in that position. And we talked about that delicate dance, which is he's a skilled player, and you don't want to blunt any of that. Yet at the same time, there's certain non-negotiables that you have to have. Listen, he talked a lot about Trevor Zegras too. Like, did you see that Zegras pass to Sean Couturier, the 3-2 goal against Florida? He's behind the net. He gets hammered by Ekblad and Sam Bennett. But like honestly, like, guys, when you think of Trevor Zegras behind the net with the puck, what are we all thinking?
Michigan.
He takes a hit from 2 beasts, makes a beautiful play to Sean Couturier. Flyers go up 3-2. Turns out to be the game-winning goal, and it's like Trevor Zegras is different. Trevor Zegras is a different play. You can quabble about, is it better or is it more fun or not? But how many times would you see Trevor Zegras try the Michigan or try to flip it over the net or do whatever? He takes a hit from 2 guys with Stanley Cup. Here it is. Yep. Behind the net. What are you thinking? Michigan, right? Boom. Takes a big hit, backhand pass, bam.
It's a great play by Trevor Zegras too.
Right? But we tend to forget like how much elite skill. Look at that. Little tip. He's getting hit by 2, stays with it, makes the play in front. Forrester was there for support in case it went south. And like, to me, this was the goal of the week. And don't forget too, Couturier had just been hammered by Bennett too. He gets up and gets in the play. To me, that was the goal of the week. And that was about the maturation, dare I say, of Trevor Zegras. That's what it looked like to me. So we talked about that and other Flyer stuff. And the goalie changed too. I'm still jazzed about that one. I'm sorry, I'm hockey geek over here, guys. Like, I'm still buzzing about that.
We'll throw a link to it in our YouTube chat so people can head there after our show today. The Sheet every weekday on the Daily Face-Off YouTube at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. I give it Mountain Time because this is an Edmonton show. Yes. Jeff, appreciate your time. Right. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, boys. Talking 7 days.
There you go. There goes Jeff Marek. Rick
Off into
talking.
the wind.
Mm-hmm.
I do think
I have one correction. Carolina Hurricanes won their Stanley Cup by injuring Dwayne Rollison.
It also ended in a tie.
Yeah, they canceled it ahead of Game 7 and said
three in NHL history in ties.
Yeah,
unbelievable. So here's a fun fact.
This better be fucking fun.
Actually, it's not fun. It's actually really bad for the Edmonton Oilers.
Shit.
The Buffalo Sabres, yeah, it's a fact. It's just a fact. The Buffalo Sabres have obviously not made the playoffs in 14 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
The last time they were close, do you remember what year that was? Like they were close to making the playoffs.
Was it the year Hutton was on the team and they were like first in the league halfway through the year?
It was not. It was 2023.
Okay.
They missed the playoffs by 1 point. Do you remember who the 8th seed was that year? The Florida Panthers, who were guided by Alex Lyon at the end of the season into the playoffs. So the Buffalo Sabres were one win away. They had 91 points. The Florida Panthers had 92. They even went 7-2-1 in their last 10 games and didn't get into the playoffs. And now they have Alex Lyon as a goaltender. It's just kind of a funny little circle.
The multiverse that would be the Edmonton Oilers.
And
would the Oilers have lost back-to-back Cup finals to the Sabres? Huh?
Well, if the Vancouver Canucks didn't acquire Oliver Ekman-Larsson, they would have got Dylan Gunther.
All right, if you want me to go into that, I saw a Canucks fan on Twitter today who was like, if the Vancouver Canucks, and then he listed, didn't trade OEL and drafted Dylan Gunther, which makes two assumptions there, that you didn't trade OEL and that you would have picked Dylan Gunther.
Yes.
If they would have taken...
It was Matthew Boldy.
Matt Boldy over Vasily Podkolzin, so number 2 there.
Yeah.
Number 3, if they would have traded Elias Pettersson for Martin Necas, again, assumption on a couple fronts, and kept JT Miller, they would have one of the best top 6s in the NHL. They were that close.
So
they were just four
moves away.
4 multifaceted hypotheticals away from having one of the best top 6s in the NHL. And you and I made a couple of very simple, like not even multifaceted, just one facet assumptions on how the Oilers could have won the Cup. If you take Tkachuk over Puljujarvi, probably have a couple Stanley Cups right now.
Probably a solid one right there. If you don't trade for Griffin Reinhart, you mentioned.
If you don't trade for Griffin Reinhart, take Matt Barzal instead, and then don't let Kirill Kaprizov fall to the 5th round, probably got a couple cups.
Probably not too far away.
It outlines how stupid it is to do that. Like when people are like, God, how did the Oilers take Bourgault over Wyatt Johnston? 22 other teams also didn't take Wyatt Johnston.
Also, Wyatt Johnston didn't play a game that season.
Nope.
And I mean, hey, they made a bad decision. I'm not defending it.
Right? People are like, and again, the Bourgault decision was dumb. We can use hindsight and do things, but when people are like, God, why wouldn't if they would have taken Jesper Wallstedt, they'd have Stanley Cups. So it's like, oh, the Minnesota Wild backup. And I get Wallstedt has upside, but like they just inked Gustafsson to a big deal because,
and even here's a fun one to go against the Vancouver Canucks of them having one of the best top 6 in the league.
Yeah.
If the Boston Bruins didn't make 3 of the worst first-round picks in the league, then Jake DeBrusk wouldn't be on the Vancouver Canucks right now.
Yeah, correct.
Because they should have taken Barzal, Connor, and Shabbat.
Yep.
I love hypotheticals.
You can do this with
everyone.
Right.
All of us. We could do it with our own lives.
Yeah.
If any go left on
what's
the
the old expression?
Right.
It's if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle, but she doesn't, so she don't.
Exactly.
Yes. Hypotheticals are better. I mean,
they're fun to
reality does stink sometimes, so it is fun to get in fantasy.
Yes, I agree.
We talked about Ike Howard. He made a couple of, and Jeff hinted at him, and you and I talked about him before the show. He had that one play in the second period, or maybe it was the third period, where he came in like 1-on-4 and tried to do a spinorama.
It was the third period, and it was his last shift of the game.
So you're telling me Chris Knobloch watched a player go into the offensive zone with a 1-goal lead and try to undress 2 NHL defensemen, lose the puck, and then immediately go for a change and said, you're not playing. Ike Howard's going to Bakersfield, everybody. It's a matter of time.
Yeah, and I think Jeff is right, too, when he mentioned he's like, look at the players they have coming back. Like, if those guys were healthy, would he have made the team? Like, he had a good preseason, don't get me wrong, but Quinn Hutson had a good preseason, too, and I think he deserves some time in the American League as well. So, look, we're huge fans of Ike Howard. The potential this kid has is off the charts. He could be one of the best goal scorers in the NHL if things go correctly.
If you gave me... you could give me bad odds, and I would put a lot of money on him in the next 5 years scoring 25 goals in the NHL. He will.
100%. And hey, we can look back. I just Googled the name randomly of someone who, American-born player, coming out of college, a little bit younger when he came out, but still one of the best scorers in the NHL. Kyle Connor spent a full season in the American League. Scored 25 goals.
The fact Kyle Connor spent a full season in the AHL and only scored 25 goals that year in the AHL is surprising.
Yeah, he ended up playing 20 games with Winnipeg that season, 5 points, 2 of them goals, but then went to the American League, 25. I'm assuming he started the next year there because he played 4 games, had 5 points, 3 of them goals, and he came back up. And that's just a random name I pulled out of the hat. But I think it was Lance actually in the chat as well mentioned Leon Draisaitl. Another guy, you remember his rookie year, he went back to the WHL. He didn't even go to the American League. They sent him all the way back. He ended up going to Kelowna winning a Memorial Cup. Like, it's not as much as like a negative as maybe it used to be. The AHL isn't filled with all these old veterans who can't make it in the league anymore. It's filled with youthful talent. I watched a bit of the Bakersfield game against San Jose the other day. If you want to see some goals, 7-6 final. Neither goalie could stop a beach ball.
Awful.
Szymanski and Modular looked great. 2 like good offensive centermen who will play with Ike Howard, and that's what he needs. And he deserves to play more based off his skill set, but he hasn't earned that opportunity yet in the NHL. For him to go to the American League, bang home some goals. Hey, like maybe the time would come around to the trade deadline. He has a little bit more juice in him, and we could push him up the lineup a bit more, and that's going to be very helpful for him and for the Oilers.
Okay, I want to get to a couple of comments here. YouTube chat brought to you by our friends at Odd Company Brewing and the Nation Beer Everyday Lager, a crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Find one at one of their 2 locations at the Ritchie spot with a great patio or in their downtown location. Okay, a few comments. Colton, I thought this was really, really well said. Howard has just been desperately trying to get some goals to earn staying in the NHL when bodies come back. I think this has helped lead to some questionable plays. I'm stoked on the Ike potential. I think Colton nailed this one.
I agree.
I think he's forcing it a bit. I think he probably knows I'm playing on the 4th line. I'm going to be on the outside looking in right away. Unless I have 3 goals in 5 games, then they can't send me down. And he's trying too hard to score 3 goals in 5 games, and he's just got to learn, and it'll come. That's not how you have success in the NHL. Ask a guy like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's going to play his 1,000th game at some point this season in all likelihood. If you just go out there and play the right way, eventually you'll score. And in a year where, and we've had this conversation a lot, a 20-goal scorer in the NHL does not score 1 goal every 4 games for 82 games.
No.
They go 16 games without a goal. They score 5 goals in 8 games. Then they go 10 games without a goal. And like, you can call that being a streaky scorer, and all their guys are there guys who are more consistent, absolutely. But like, as a whole, if you just go out there and play well and keep earning your minutes, you will have stretches where the bounces go your way and pucks go in. And you will have stretches where you're cold, but guess what? You stay in the lineup because you aren't turning over pucks in a 1-0 game. You just got to learn.
Matt Savoy is almost a great example of that.
Yep.
Like, he is not scoring. I think he got robbed by Demko on Saturday, and he hit the post yesterday.
Yeah.
But he's playing really well in other aspects of the game, and it's not just all about offense for him. Like, he's earning his opportunities. Like, he played in the top 6 yesterday. Howard needs to find that in him, and it's just like a different mentality. But guess what Savoy did? Spent the full year in the American League and did really, really well. And now he's come up. Like, I know the idea of Howard for O'Reilly was to push the development further ahead. And I think they have done that because now you can have Howard in the system closer to home in Bakersfield rather than stuck in London like Sam O'Reilly is. I like it, and I would like him to go down to the American League. It was reported from Paige Martin that Jake Wallman will not play on Thursday. So Ike Howard survives another day.
Live to see another day. Knobloch did say earlier in the week that there is a chance Janmark's back by the weekend.
Maybe it's them.
Probably then.
Unless they put, and just because it's back-to-backs, maybe they put Regula on IR for the weekend. Or maybe, I don't know how that
they
works,
could do that.
But like,
they could do that. That's a good point. Yeah, back-to-back games this weekend, by the way. It's a busy little stretch here for the Oilers.
1:30 and 1, I think.
I like that you brought up Matt Savoy. Like, again, such a good example of what we're talking about here. We're like, if you want to truly appreciate Matt Savoy, you need to like pick 4 shifts a game and like just watch him and don't watch the play. That guy is in the right spot every single time. The goals will come for him. Again, if he's going to be a 20-goal guy, he's going to have a 2-goal game here and there. He's going to go on a run where he's got 5 and 10 games. He's not just going to score every 3rd game and get to 30 goals this year. But if he's in the right spots consistently, he will stay in the lineup enough to have a really, really strong season. We talked about, 2 weeks ago, there are not very many guys in the NHL who score 40 even strength points in a season. Like, that list is small.
Very few.
And I can pull up the numbers again for people here to kind of give a refresher if people didn't watch the show a couple weeks ago. But like, if you're not going to be someone who's regularly getting power play time, it's very hard to be a 40-point guy, never mind a 50-point guy, never mind a 60-point guy. Like, it's a difficult thing to do. I'll look right now. Forwards in the NHL last season who had north of 40 even strength points. There were 80 or 90 of them, an average of 3 per team in the league. Hyman, McDavid, Draisaitl. Like, those are the Oilers 3. Everyone else, it's tough to, and like the names we're talking about here that were in the dead on 40-point range, like bona fide top line guys. Timo Meier, Sam Bennett, Sean Monahan, Vincent Trocheck. Like, Vincent Trocheck spent the whole year with Artemi Panarin. Being a third liner and getting 40 even strength points is just not something that happens all that often. Both Ryan McLeod and Warren Fogle did it last year.
Wow.
I shouldn't
But
have
they
said
play
that.
top
Clip
6.
ends before that.
Yeah. Eli, you just cut the clip before I say that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do is kind of my whole point.
No, it is. And it's hard to do it consistently as well. Like, just on Ryan McLeod, we think they're good players, McLeod and Fogle. McLeod's had a terrible start to the season. I'm not sure he has a point yet. He's been taken off the power play. You know, that's a guy who had a really good season last year. But then can you do it again? What's next step? You know, so yeah, just on Savoy too. I think another sign of shown trust from the coaching staff. He's a rookie on the penalty kill. That is, I'd love to know how many in the league are rookies on the penalty kill. Sorry, I thought you had something.
I'm sure not many. For me, I got 2 things. It's one that, like, I don't like to directly compare Matt Savoy and Ike Howard. They are different players. But you look at Savoy, and he is clearly 1 year ahead or a couple steps ahead. And that is a result of playing in the AHL. He does the little things, the defensive, the battles. And we know Chris Knobloch. He ain't going to put you in the lineup or keep you in unless you are doing those things. The second point, we've gone 47 minutes into the show and have yet to mention that it's someone's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Tyler.
Happy birthday, Tyler. Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. I turned 28 today.
Really?
And Stu gave you a shitty.
I thought you were 29.
Nope, turned 28 today.
When I was 28.
Because we're all 1 year apart. 30,
Yeah, right. 30,
29.
28.
28.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
How will you be celebrating?
Amber is taking me to a Mexican place
Wow.
for an early dinner. I think we're going for 4:30. Because I'm old now, that's when I eat dinner. No, it's because I wanna be wrapped up by the time the Jays game starts at 6:00. So,
Who's on the mound tonight?
Shane Bieber, I got Bieber fever, baby.
Well, I hope he gives you a nice Christmas gift, birthday gift.
Yeah,
Christmas.
my only debate right now is: do I want to watch the game at home or do I want to watch it at a bar?
Where did you watch the last 2 games?
One of them at my parents' house and one of them at home.
Then a bar it is.
Choice has been made.
But yeah, okay, yeah, maybe.
You asked.
I know. The thing I like doing when I watch at home is I get the big beers like they have at the stadium, and it makes me feel like I'm really in the fight with the boys.
You got your 9 hot dogs. You got your
Yeah.
That's your birthday treat.
Yeah.
Waiver news. Donovan Zabrango picked up by the Florida Panthers. I heard a story about Donovan Zabrango once. There's a reason I bring this up. So he played for the Kitchener Rangers, if I'm not mistaken, and obviously it was a Detroit draft pick. And the Kitchener Rangers called the Detroit Red Wings and were like, hey, like, Detroit was trying to bring him into the system. Like, hey, like, this guy's not ready. Like, you should not do this. Like, we'll take care of him for 1 more year, and then we'll make sure he's ready to come to you the year after. And the Detroit Red Wings were like, no, like, we know what's best for him. He will come and play with us, and he will become a professional player. He was a 3rd-round pick. I believe he was on a World Juniors roster.
Mm-hmm.
Not panned out. 4 years immediately. 4 points, 7 points, 7 points, 12, 7, 2, 20.
Yeah, that's
23 years old. His career looks to be over almost in the NHL. Who was the director of player development at that time? Sean Holkoff. So next time you talk about him being the GM of the Oilers, consider that.
Yeah. We got a couple of super chats.
We do, thank
First
you.
off, Norm dropped in $6.99 and said happy birthday, Tyler. So thank you to Norm.
The guy with a fist at the games.
Oh, nice. Northside Norm. Oh, yeah, that is his picture.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Norm. Tammy dropped in $15 earlier. It all goes to the Ben Stelter Foundation. I missed my donation last night. I slept through everything. I have the flu, but go skinny for Ben. As always, I hope you feel better, Tammy.
Yeah, I hope
I love you,
feel better,
Tammy.
Tammy.
Yep,
Thank
that's
you
my
for your
birthday
donation.
wish.
You're the best.
Yep. Ooh, the AI auto summary is in for our show. Viewers in the chat are wishing Tyler a happy birthday and discussing how he might celebrate, including going to Taco Bell or a bar. Never said Taco Bell.
No, we did not.
I will go.
The chat said Taco Bell.
Yeah, no, we're
early
going.
bird.
We're going somewhere a little nicer than Taco Bell.
Can we
Wendy's?
4 for 4.
Taco time? Can we take a look at the Trent Frederic goal from last night?
Yeah, let's watch our boy Freddie slide 1 5-hole. This came as I was sending a tweet about how the Oilers keep trying to pass the puck into the net and just aren't being willing to like shoot and rip shots. But Trent Frederic off a great feed from Kapanen and some great wheels by Freddie too. Like
Great job. Muscle off his guy.
you watch him do that and you're like, yep, he can score you 15 even strength goals a year like he did in Boston.
Totally. And I thought that third line was really solid yesterday. Just a good, physical, speedy line. And I liked that. And I'm glad Frederic has had I'm going to say decent start to the season. I actually thought he was good on Saturday. I mean, what do you have? 3 shots, 4 hits, something along those lines. Like, I don't think he was put in the correct position to succeed. And I mean, look at those hands. Wait, there wasn't any. He literally just skates forward with the puck. Like, he doesn't do anything with it, right? Like, he just knocks it forward, simple shot, 5-hole. And, like, simple stuff. And that's what his game is. And I think that's what Podkolzin and Kapanen are, too. They can play with a lot of speed and push the pace of the game. And hey, this is probably the most skilled goal the three of them might score this season, but it got the Oilers the win. I think that's really good to see a 5-on-5 goal from Frederic that got you off on the board. And then on Saturday night as well, we saw, what's his name? Noah Philp get the 5-on-5 goal in the game. Before that, it was Andrew Mangiapane. Like,
if your bottom 6 gets you 1 5-on-5 goal a game,
you're probably
they are
winning.
doing their job as a collective group.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Yeah, they're doing their job. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
He was labeled, I think, as the 4C on Daily Faceoff. He definitely played third line center last night.
Yeah, they shortened their bench up at the end, too, like we talked about. Lance says if Stu let in that goal, this fan base would be losing it. Oh, yeah. If Stuart Skinner had Andre Vasilevsky numbers right now, they'd be losing it.
He had a...
Go look up what Vasilevsky's numbers are.
Oh, here we go.
It's terrible. Terrible.
Sorry, all I have is Stu's 942 in front of me. That's all I had.
870 for Vasilevsky in 3 games. 4.08 goals against that.
I'm instituting a new rule for the show.
Okay.
For the YouTube chat. You guys have to listen to what I say. If Skinner is above
my birthday.
If Skinner is above 920, you're not allowed to talk about them acquiring any other goalies.
Yeah, there's a bit too much Sorokin talk today. I mean, hey.
Shut up.
I think we would all sit here and welcome Ilya Sorokin to the Oilers.
Yep.
He's an awesome goalie.
Yep.
Guess what? The Islanders also recognize that. Like, it's just kind of... Yeah, I think we're good right now. I think we're riding the high wave of Skinner. Hopefully, he's shown good signs. Like I said, he looks a little bit different this year. And he, like you said, he showed a bit of confidence as well and appreciation to Henrique. Mm-hmm. He was chuckling a little bit, I thought, with Bouchard in the game. I think I saw that. Looks confident. I'm curious to see what they do. They'll probably go back to him Thursday, I would think.
Yeah.
And then I would go Pickard on Saturday against the Devils. And then who do they play Sunday? Detroit?
Yep.
Then I would go back to Stu.
Yep. I'm with you.
Last night watching Stu made me think, like, legitimately, should I lose 15 pounds? He looks more confident. He looks happier. He looks better.
What could I do?
I know, right? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Season just started. No way.
Steve in the comments. Both our goalies are playing good, correct. The Oilers have the second best team save percentage in the NHL.
That's good. Yeah,
I hope. Just let me daydream for a little bit. Can you imagine if Stuart Skinner just ripped off like a 922 this year? Pickard's like a 905 and the Oilers goalies are just good and we can just like shut the hell up about it.
It would be good to just know that conversation. I don't even care about it being that high. I just want him to like show consistently.
I do, because if it's like 9-10 at the deadline, people will still be like, you won't be able to trust him in the playoffs. Like, I want Stuart Skinner to be like effing lights out.
Yeah, I mean, I want him to be that way too. I just want to see, and I understand why people get frustrated with him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that goal on last Wednesday, a week ago, you're watching, you think, like, everyone should have that. Everyone had it in their head what had to happen. And I think people just want to see that consistency from it. And I think that's fair. But yeah, I mean, 920. If he gets 920 by what date did you say?
The trade deadline. You can't talk about trading for a goalie, which is a fair deal. I'll make that deal all day.
Buy a jersey.
As long as he
buy a jersey.
My rule is, as long as he is above 920, we can't talk about trading for other goalies. And if it so happens that like we get to the deadline and that's the reality, then we aren't talking about getting a goalie at the deadline.
I'd even, for me personally, lower that to like 915. I would still be cool with that. Gotta walk before you run. It's 2 games. Let's ride.
Lyle, people shutting up is the most unrealistic thing you've ever said. Decent point. That is a decent point. We're about 5 minutes away from our pal David Pagnotta. Should we do a little... do we want to do what's trending, or do we want to do our lineup? The lineup from today.
I don't know. He's down Nurse falling his ass.
Yeah, boy, Daryl's had a couple tough games.
That was funny.
Oh, it was hilarious, but he's been bad.
Do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a quick lineup report.
Okay. Aaron, do we have him from the Twitterverse?
I mean, just while we have it, let's at least just...
Uh-oh.
I believe there's clown music underneath this, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we don't do that. No. We're not going to be mean to Daryl.
Classic.
This just happens, though. Like,
and
this
Skinner
is whatever.
made the save.
Yeah, he did. Let's see the lineup. What are we working with here?
Here's our lineup for today. We'll say the lineup is, it's trending, right? It's out there. Totally. People are talking about it. McDavid centering Mangiapane and Tomaszek. Manja.
Hey, bada bing.
Draisaitl with the Nuge and Roslovic. So this is kind of how they ended the game last night, although the lines were so scattered. Did you like Tomaszek last night?
Yep, I did. I thought he was a little bit better. Showed something at 5-on-5, which he needs to do because eventually the power play isn't going to be there. Last night he didn't have any power play time. No one did. He needs to show what he can do.
We talked about that yesterday. Like, he needs to have good just getting scoring chances on the power play. Like, I don't even care if he does or doesn't score on the power play. If he's going to stay in the lineup, has to be productive 5-on-5 minutes. They're putting him with Mangiapane, who I love. Good Lord, is he ever a good hockey player?
He is a good player. He just works his ass off.
Yeah.
I love that thing I looked up yesterday. I never really knew who he was with in Calgary, but Blake Coleman and Backlund, again, both good players, are not exactly known for their skill.
Yeah.
And he scored 35 goals, only 8 on the power play. It's an incredible season.
Frederic centering Podkolzin and Kapanen. That is a crash and bang line if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. I don't love this lineup. I really don't.
I don't like Howard, Henrique, and Savoy.
I actually like McDavid and Draisaitl together because when you break it up, I think it puts the other team's coach in a blender on the road, and it gives you an advantage. So that's something that happened last night. There was a defenseman, I forget his name, Volkanainen. Is that his name on the blue line for New York?
Urho Vakanainen.
Vakanainen. Sullivan said, he's like, we can't get him out there because they split up McDavid and Draisaitl. There's no ice time for him. Yeah. They wouldn't even play their third line yesterday. So I think he can really put the other team, makes them think a little bit more, and they have the change and everything like that. So make them think about it a little bit. So I like starting them together. I know I'm one of the very few in that group, and they haven't done too much, but they're McDavid and Draisaitl. They're going to figure it out. But you are playing a weaker Islanders team, hopefully.
I think that's maybe part of it is
so
every one of these lines should be able to win their matchup.
Yeah, I would like to see Savoy higher up the lineup. That's my only beef.
Me too, but
I thought he played well with Nude.
Can I just throw you a counterpoint?
Please do.
If Bob typed this the other way where Henrique is above Frederic, would you... Right? Let's see how the minutes get rolled out, and let's see how the zone starts going, all of that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, fourth line. It's a bottom 6 and a top 6.
I also think, too, yesterday... you made the joke before the show. Jack tweeted, same lineups the way they ended. Couldn't tell you how they ended.
Yeah, no, it was
just
confusing.
Everywhere. So I could see Savoy getting shifts. I don't think Tomaszek is playing 15 minutes tomorrow night. Let's put it that way.
Another empty netter for the Oil.
We're rolling, baby.
Yeah, we're going to be a good empty net team this year. That's my new season resolution. I will will it to existence.
And they worked hard for it, too.
And I just opened up Twitter and saw people being like, the Oilers don't know how to develop players because Savoy and Howard are playing on the fourth line.
This pisses me off. This is such a problem around the league right now.
Let's see how many minutes they play.
Also, too, you can't just gift these guys minutes. You know what I mean?
Howard had a bad game yesterday.
He didn't play very well. He played 10 minutes. He probably didn't deserve 10 minutes any more than 10 minutes.
He should be in Bakersfield.
Should be in Bakersfield. Savoy, I agree. Should be higher up the lineup.
Howard played over 3 minutes less than the next lowest Oiler forward.
Stuff like that. It's becoming a bit noticeable, but it's also the idea too. And I know we poked fun at it, but the Zane Parekh thing. These coaching staffs know what they're doing. They're hey, we don't want to put him against the speed of Draisaitl and McDavid because the Oilers in general, because he's just not ready for it. Mm-hmm. Put these players in positions to succeed, and I think the Oilers are doing a very good job of developing players. Noah Phillips, I know he's not in the lineup, which probably should be, but he's having a good start to the year. Regula. Do you know what was great yesterday? I thought Ty Emerson had an awesome game.
He was really good, actually. That's a good point.
The first time I've seen him play, do anything with the puck in a long time. I thought he was very good. And that's why internal competition is fantastic.
Yep.
Because now he's like, okay, Regula's out, Stetch is in. This is my time to prove that I can do it. And I still think he wasn't higher in minutes by any means, but I bet the coaching staff noticed that too.
Yeah. Yesterday, Emberson played more than Stetcher. He played 17:40 in the game. Okay. The other thing too, like people bitching about Savoy ice time, all that, like he still played 16 shifts yesterday. Like sometimes I do like seeing the shift number over the time on ice number because it shows how often the coach is putting him on the ice versus like a guy gets hemmed in his own end and a 30-second shift turns into a minute 10 shift. And then it's like, well, they played a lot. It's like, well, no, they just had a shitty shift and it resulted in 40 extra seconds of time on the ice.
He just stood there like this for 3 minutes.
So he had 16 shifts last night. He had more than Henrique. He had more than Tomasic. He had more than Howard. Same amount as Podkolzin and Frederic. And Frederic scored a goal. So, again, I'm not complaining about this shit yet.
The other thing...
Fucking game 3. We're in between games 3 and 4 of the season. Let's calm down.
The other thing, too, is like these veteran players earned their ice time. Like, you can't just bench guys.
Also, they have points in every game this year. What are we talking about?
Yeah, like these guys deserve to play too. Like Kapanen and Podkolzin deserve to be in the lineup. They've been playing really well.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like the Oilers are good. Everyone's kind of doing all right now.
Kapanen has a primary assist.
Yes. Like,
shit.
He has 2. Didn't he assist?
Yes, you're right.
He might be one of the highest scoring players right now.
He's got more 5-on-5 points than fucking McDavid.
Hey, there we go.
Let's start a narrative.
No goals in 3 games. What are we going to do with him?
I thought he was supposed to shoot more this year. Connor, I put a lot of money on you scoring 50 goals this year. Let's go.
Oh, it wasn't lucky, though, on the one, and I liked it, that he shot it off the pad.
Great play.
And it was so close to Bouchard. It was a great play. Last season, and Louis said on the broadcast, that was 100% a pass.
Yep.
100%. He is shooting more. He had 2 shots yesterday. I don't know what his shot attempts were at, but I like the team. I really
My old minor hockey coach, Scott Roselle, loved a good pad pass.
I thought you were going to say, wish you happy birthday.
Nope. He loved a good pad pass and a good screen shot.
There you go.
He'd come into the offensive zone. You'd hear him from the bench. He'd be like, screen shot. He'd want you to use the D-man as a screen.
Hate that play.
It's a very difficult play to pull off, though.
It is.
I always try it in beer league and just rifle it into a guy's skate blade. Never works. Never works.
Just going to shoot it out if the skate blade comes off.
Yeah.
It's a trick play.
Big brain play. We're going to be joined by Dave Pagnotta in a second.
He's connecting. It's going in and out. I'll let you know.
He did text me and say that the connection isn't great, so he's going to try to reconnect. So we'll give David Pagnotta a second here to get back in. But I think that's kind of all the takes I had on the lines. Like, this just goes back, and I feel like this is going to be one of those drums, Liam, that we bang all season long, and it'll be they have a lot of good players. Mm-hmm. Good players are going to have to sit. Good players are going to have to play on the fourth line. Look at this forward group. This is without Zach Hyman. It's a really good group of players.
So let's play the hypothetical.
Like, we're not Buffalo. We're like, oh, yeah, let's put a kid on the first line and pray to God he's good.
Yeah, let's hope for the best here. Hyman, where's he going?
Thomas X spot. Oh, that's sick. Mangiapane, Hyman, McDavid.
This is what I mean, I'm putting back on the top line, too.
All right, fuck that. It's game 3. McDavid, Mangiapane, Hyman. This team's winning a cup.
What if we go full crazy on this? Walk with me.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Podkolzin, McDavid, Hyman.
Sure.
Savoy, Draisaitl.
Mangiapane?
Yes, sorry. I always miss him.
I know.
Start from the top. You lost me.
Henrique Nuch.
Slow boots.
Kapanen. Bit of speed.
Better boots.
I mean, if you want to go full slow, you could just throw Tomasic there, I guess. Fourth line, Yamak, Freddie, Tomasic, I guess. Did I miss anyone?
Probably.
But that's good.
It's hard to follow.
Yeah, that's why we need the visual if we're going to do it.
Yeah, I got my boards ready.
All right. Guest line, Star Mechanical. They are Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. And you know what they care about? First off, being quality plumbers. Second off, saving you money, whether it's residential, commercial, or 24/7 emergency services. Their prices are fair because they care about you, the customers. We welcome in David Pagnotta from the fourth period and Sirius XM in the car. Where are you going?
Running around doing some last minute stuff. I still don't have my Nook studio thingy set up yet, so I'm picking up some last minute stuff for it.
Oh, nice. A little trip to Home Depot for David Pagnotta. I want to talk. We'll go outside of Edmonton, then we'll talk a little bit of Oilers. The Lane Hutson deal drops earlier this week, a pretty surprising AAV. Yep. And I know, again, that's been talked about a lot. Ooh, did he take less? Whatever. I just think the fact that Montreal has all these guys locked up for the next 7-8 years is unbelievable.
And it's a big part of the reason why Lane Hutson took less. In order, and a smidge less, right? 150, 200, $250,000, something along those lines. That he was offered more money than the actual contract that he signed. And following suit, Noah Dobson signed for 9.5. He took less to get that deal done with the Canadiens. Suzuki obviously started the trend, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, etc. This is everyone kind of buying in and wanting this to be a special team year after year after year after year. And you've got, 9 years effectively of Lane Hutson now, as of today. You got 8 of Dobson. You've got so on, like all these key pieces that are locked in. And it's like you look at these guys, they're having fun. The comeback win yesterday against Seattle, they're having fun. And that's a big, if you're another player or another team, you're looking at this, you're going, okay, not only are there a lot of young quality talent on this club, but at the same time, everyone's enjoying themselves. Everyone's bought in and everyone's part of this. And that's now becoming a destination beyond just, that Montreal market is incredible, but the team is good. They're having a lot of fun. They're doing well. They've got Demidov, who's expected to be, another star in this league. And they've got a lot of good young kids still in the system. The Canadiens are now, again, a very desirable place to play. And a lot of it has to do with these guys like Hutson, Suzuki, Caulfield, etc., buying in, taking a smidge less. You get 10 guys signing for $100,000, $150,000 less. That's $1 to $1.5 million extra to utilize on the salary cap for some other players.
Yeah, I like this comment from Maynard, who says, so according to Dave, my annual salary is a smidge. But it is, again, it goes to show, and the reason I say that is to bring up a point that Gregor always says with these guys. Like Lane Hutson, for example, he's going to get now 2 massive contracts in his career. He's going to make well north of $150 million in his NHL career. Dude, what's the difference between 150 and 140 in the grand scheme of things? And what's the difference in your life if you're someone who brings a Stanley Cup to Montreal and you're a part of that team? Like, I'm not the least bit surprised that star players are sitting there going, like, even McDavid to an extent, like, you know what? Fuck it, I don't need the $8 million. I'll sit here and I'm going to try to be the guy who captains a team to a Stanley Cup in Canada. Like, I totally understand why guys are willing to do that.
It's a huge part of it. And look, whether it's Edmonton, Toronto, Montreal, New York, LA, Chicago, if the team is bad and starting their rebuild, guys don't want to be part of that. You ask anybody around the league, they want to be part of that next phase, that next step. You go through your rebuild, and then when you're ready to take those next steps, then I want to be all in. I want to be part of it. Same thing with the Oilers, same thing with the Habs, the Leafs, etc. Chicago's going through that now. San Jose's going through that now. Anaheim's in that next level stage where they're taking those other steps. They're bringing in veteran pieces to insulate the young studs. That's what they're doing. And especially in a Canadian market, if you have guys that are willing to take either a little bit less, or in Connor McDavid's case, several million less, it's because these guys want to win. And if they take a bit of a cut now, like long term, okay, understandable, smaller cut. For Connor McDavid's case, $4 or $5 million less to help his team out. And obviously this season's a little bit different because they are, like, the cap is what it is for them. But, like, they're going to be active next summer. They're going to be active the summer after that because they want, whether they win or not, if they win, they want to sustain that. For markets like Montreal that have players that are all of the same philosophy, that bodes well for them, for their longevity of their success. And, again, another reason why they're so attractive to other players willing to go there.
You mentioned next summer, and I think everyone in Edmonton is just so excited for this season to be over and just see what the Oilers can do next summer, to be honest. And the one name, and I think he's very appreciated in Edmonton because we've seen him so much, is Adrian Kempe. I think Oilers fans really know how good this guy
Mm-hmm.
is. Like, is there any update there? Do you think he legit could go to market, or is it still looking like he's going to stay with the Kings?
He wants to stay. The Kings and Kenny Holland have to accept the fact that his contract's likely going to be in the 11s. And, I mentioned this last week as well. Like, in July, when they started negotiations, or even in June when they started talking, the talking point from Kempe's camp was in the 10s. And from LA's side, it was 9 and just under. And both of those numbers have increased. But I don't know if LA has made significant ground in terms of bridging the financial gap. And that's one of the reasons why they put a pause in negotiations for the time being. And we'll reconvene later this month and whatnot. That's kind of the messaging. But with the changing of the landscape, they've got to figure that out from LA side of things and accept the fact that it's going to cost you a lot to keep this guy. And that there are teams like Edmonton and others that are quasi lurking in the weeds, just curious as to where this is going to go. If he hits market, first of all, the 11's going way up. You're talking 12 in the open market. And I mean, there are going to be a number of potential suitors that are going to go after this guy. What I know in talking to him over the years, in talking to him again at the media tour in Vegas, and talking to some of his teammates, he genuinely wants to stay. But at the same time, and I think he's a guy that's willing to take a smidge less, but he needs to be in that competitive window, that competitive ballpark financially, and they just haven't been there yet.
Let's talk a little Edmonton Oilers. I want to pick your brain on the Jack Roslovic situation a little bit. Like, I can understand why a guy wants the 1-year deal to be in Edmonton because of the opportunity this organization and this roster can kind of give a scoring winger like that. But there's a part of me that's like, Jeff Skinner didn't work here. Is Jack Roslovic going to work here? And they're not entirely the same player, but you kind of get what I'm saying. It's very interesting to note that no trade clause and the no movement clause and the timing of it kicking in on November 1, which is right when Zach Hyman's going to be back. Like, there's a built-in out here for both sides, right? Even like the no trade list being exactly 4 teams. Like, Jack Roslovic and his camp must know 4 teams that would put their hand up and acquire him, right?
Yeah. They had more that tried to do it in July, and it didn't work out. And he thought he was getting a better deal, so he held off, and he just waited too long. But if you saw what Jeff Skinner ended up getting in San Jose, like, you get a better deal if you're in a better environment. For Jack Roslovic, I think this is like, both sides are taking a little bit of a risk here, but from his side of things, if he clicks, he likely stays, and then and does well, then he cashes in on a bigger deal next summer. If it doesn't click right now, it doesn't work, then the Oilers have options in terms of where they could potentially move him. So it's a semi-win-win situation. It's like a quasi-win-win. If it works out, awesome, then that's good, obviously. And if it doesn't work out, then there are options available to the Oilers and to Stan Bowman in order to move him. But, yeah, specifically 4 teams, you read between the lines, you say, okay, these are certainly the options available to them. We talked about this as well. We know that the Oilers had a multi-year deal on the table in the summer. He took too long. The Canucks had a 2-year deal on the table for him. He wanted to go elsewhere. And again, waiting, and it just didn't work out. So this is the scenario that he's in now.
So the Oilers are obviously going to have to make a decision here at some point with Mark coming back, Hyman's got to come back, and Warman has to come back. Do you have any indication of what they could possibly do? Like, we were talking a little bit before you got on. Like, Ike Howard seems like a guy who's probably going to get a ticket down to California to Bakersfield pretty quick.
And Bakersfield's lovely this time of year.
I've never been, but I would assume so.
Yeah, apparently it is. I would assume as well. But I think there are some options. They could send a couple guys down. There's another guy that I believe is waivers exempt.
Tomashek,
his name totally escapes me. Yes. Yeah, and he's at, I believe, 1.2.
Yeah.
So it gives them, like, they have a little bit of flexibility here in making all the numbers work. And then, again, it comes down to performance for some of these guys. If it doesn't work out, if certain guys aren't playing up to a certain standard that they now anticipate in Edmonton, then you start to look at other options in terms of moving pieces out. But I don't think – I mean, they obviously have a plan. which is why, they weren't just signing Roslovic on a whim and then, okay, boys, we'll deal with the financials later. Like, they've understood what their timeline is and what options are going to be available to them in order to be cap compliant when, Zach Hyman's back and so on and so on. So I don't think there's much concern from their perspective with regards to how they got to juggle the cap.
I want to go outside of Edmonton to wrap this up. We were talking to Johnny Lazarus the other day, and he seems like pretty adamant that Artemi Panarin and the Rangers, that is not something that's going to go on past this year. He talked about the aging core, and you can't have that many guys in their mid-30s and all of that stuff. And, I think at the start of the year, the casual fan wouldn't have been like, whoa, Artemi Panarin, that's a guy who could be on the move. But, hey, a year ago, no one thought Brad Marchand was going to be on the move at the deadline. Do you think there's a chance it gets so ugly in New York this year? And maybe not even so ugly, but is there a world like they just look at Panarin at the deadline and are like, what, you're not coming back. Let's cash in on this now.
Yeah, I think if they're a bubble team, then I see Chris Drury just going in that direction. Like, if there's no indication that he's willing to stay in New York beyond this season, then I think they seriously look at moving him and going in that direction. Now, it could be like, first of all, he has the same agent as Kirill Kaprizov. Kaprizov got a pretty nice contract. Panarin, if he does well, is going to cash in on another nice contract. But with so many guys coming off the free agent list, and the potential for a few others, be it Kempe or Tuck or whomever, Natchez, etc., Panarin's going to be right at the top of the list again in his free agent pool. So there's an opportunity for him to cash in pretty significantly here. So I think if there's an indicator that he's not going to stay in New York, and they're a bubble fringe team after the Olympics going into that trade deadline, it wouldn't shock me if they take a serious look at pulling something off here and moving him, retaining some assets. They could still keep that window open for them for the rest of the season. But I don't think they really want to be in a position to lose a player like that of that caliber for nothing when there are teams that have cap space that are contenders that would love to get their hands on a sniper and a top-tier talent like Panarin.
It really pissed me off the other day when I found out that his nickname's the Bread Man only because it sounds like Panera. That's the dumbest shit
Panera,
ever.
Yeah.
And
I don't think I don't even know who came up with that. Wasn't it a teammate that thought that they sounded similar and just rolled with it?
Mangiapane's name.
Laz might know that.
Mangiapane's name literally translates to bread eater. He's the real bread man in the NHL. That's a good nickname. It sounds like Panera. Dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I didn't come up with it. I don't know. Maybe Laz had something to do with that, to be honest.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make it seem like I was lashing out at you, more just the general hockey world. Go, Liam, get us serious. Yeah, just back on track.
So let me get this right. You tweeted yesterday that today would be the Olympic deadline, right? So the teams have to put in 42 skaters and 5 goalies. What time does that usually is that expected to come around?
Usually, it's never happened before.
Every 4 years.
I don't know definitively. I think it's 5 Eastern for the Canadian and the U.S. clubs, but I'm not entirely sure if there's a later date because I don't guys, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't checked. I don't know if Sweden or Finland or any of them have tossed out their rosters yet. For some reason, I believe it's around 5 or is 5 p.m. Eastern. Be off on that.
All right, there you go, David Pagnotta. Get back into that Bed Bath & Beyond or wherever you're shopping.
Yeah, almost there. Next week, looking slick.
Awesome.
All right,
Can't
look forward
wait.
to it. Thanks, David.
See ya.
Later, boys.
There you go, David Pagnotta. What kind of car do you think he drives?
Kia.
No, he's not driving a Kia, Liam.
There was a nice sunroof in there.
Yeah, that sunroof looked sick.
It did.
The lighting was great in his vehicle, too.
What's wrong
He's
with
not
it?
driving a Kia.
What's wrong?
You think David Pagnotta's hauling around in a Sorrento?
What's wrong with
What's
a
wrong
Kia?
with the Sorrento, man?
Big business fourth period guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Bet you he's
Hey.
driving an Audi.
Spends his money
Oh,
elsewhere.
he's totally driving an Audi.
He's a classy guy.
Yeah.
He drives an Audi.
I'm not convinced. I think he put his money into his house. Clearly into his office. Is that what
Yeah,
about?
he's sinking his money into his
Nothing
office.
wrong
Yeah.
with a Kia.
Thefourthperiod.com if you'd like to read more of his reporting.
And every day he's got something new.
He was on what I would describe as an insider heater the other week. He nailed The Evangelista thing, he was on DFO Live, got it. He came on our show and was like, if they get it done with Ekholm, it's in the $4 million range. He nailed that like 2 days before. So, again, he's on a nice little run.
I hope he's dead
Should I
wrong.
ask him what kind of car he drives?
Yeah, ask him.
All right.
I hope he's dead wrong about Kempe. I think Kempe would come here and Oilers fans would lose it in like a good way. Like, I think we can all agree he is awesome. There's very few players, and honestly, I think this is one of the craziest things I've seen in the NHL. But like in the playoffs last year, when they just threw him on the blue line, and he was so good, like so effective.
He's a guy who can do everything.
He can do everything. He's such a great player. I would love him in Edmonton.
I also don't want to cross another name off this list. We got to keep this. Got to keep this fresh.
Do you know what? I think we can cross Ovechkin off.
July 1st.
I'm not doing it yet.
July 1st, dailyfaceoff.com. Watch live. It's Andrei Kuzmenko Day. Where will Nick Schmaltz land?
God, I hope. Can you pull it up again, Aaron?
Is it rude to ask someone what kind of car they drive?
No.
Okay.
No.
I drive a Mazda 6.
I
drive a Mazda 3, so is yours twice as good?
I think so. Mine has a hole in the bumper because I got hit by a fence
bullet?
post.
Oh.
A fence post. Someone literally drove over and it almost went through my windshield.
Call those speed holes in the side of the car.
Liam's got ops.
Out of those players, how many of them would you actually want on the Oilers, and how many do you think is like a legit chance that I could see this guy playing here?
I mean, like, define want.
Like, you look at them and you think, okay, that guy fits to what the Oilers need. Like, and maybe you're wondering about Ovechkin. I would not want him as an Oiler because he's just old and he doesn't fit what they need.
Kempe, Tuck, Marchment.
So like, like if we're talking, we're gonna keep things to like what's a realistic. Like, if Ovi was like 1 year, $1 million, it's like hell yeah, Ovi. Let's do the same.
But he's not.
Yeah, he's not.
Any update?
He borrowed his buddy's SUV, but he drives a Genesis. Classy guy.
Okay, that's good. So not a Kia. Okay, well, I take Panarin. I actually think they could get him, too.
Liam gets to Kia. Guy's whipping around in a Genesis.
I think they could legit get Panarin.
I don't think they want Panarin.
Yeah.
Why don't you think they want Panarin? He had 40 goals last year, by the way. Or 39. Round up.
33. What's the contract? I don't think Panarin's ring chasing. I don't think Panarin's coming to Edmonton being like 3 years, $10 million. I think he's going to Minnesota or he's going to some other franchise who's desperate for talent and going 3 years, $15 million.
So here's my question, and I don't recall, and this is, why did Panarin not go to Florida with Bob?
I don't
they
think
were both on Columbus together, and that was the whole thing back then too. Is like he only wants to play with his Russian friends.
I think he really wanted to play in New York.
Okay. That makes sense. I actually didn't know.
So, like, I like Anders Lee if it's a super, super short. We're talking 1 or 2 years, whatever. I love Alex Tuck. I love Adrian Kempe. I like Mason Marchment. And, I like Anders Lee. I don't know if I'm there on Natchez.
There's too many
Giroux's
things with Natchez that we've heard about.
Giroux's too old.
Giroux, unreal player. We have Adam Henrique. And I'm not comparing the two by any means. Like, I don't want another
There's
guy.
Adam Henrique at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Closer is better.
Yeah.
Panarin. I think I'm in on Panarin. I think it would be good. I really do. Like, if you got him, just for example, 3 years, just say 8 or 9 million for the sake of conversation. And you put him on McDavid or Draisaitl's wing every night, we would not be worrying about David Tomasek taking shifts with McDavid.
No, we wouldn't.
Honorable mention for me for Kuzmenko. You just don't know if you're getting 39 goal Kuzmenko or 6 goal Kuzmenko.
And I'll be honest with you, I have no interest in finding out.
Yeah, that's fair.
You getting games?
He didn't like Bell Towers, so.
Yeah, are you getting games 1 and 2 of Kuzmenko or 3, 4, 5, 6?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oilers need more consistency, not less.
Yeah.
All right. We got to wrap up with a couple of things. We never really did a full What's Trending. It's brought to you by our friends at Oodle Noodle. Shout out to Oodle Noodle, where you can take advantage of the value menu deal and add 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 wontons to your order, any signature premium box, for just $2. That is unbelievable. Takeout only, oodlenoodle.ca. Graham, this prediction, this is where I like to just give you guys a little heat check in the chat. 4 years, $8 million for Alex Tuck. He is a double-digit AAV. Alex Tuck is getting $10 million next year. So if you want Alex Tuck, you got to pay $10 million.
I probably agree. Unless you get him at the deadline and you can show him what Edmonton is like, and you might be able to get him for a little bit less. But he had 36 goals last season.
He's a good player. He will get paid. Okay. There was a guy at the Dallas Stars game wearing full Jake Ottinger gear. If that guy sat down next to me at the game, I would freak the fuck out.
Hey, he looks like Jake Ottinger in Game 5 or whatever that was.
Sitting in a seat? Yes. Yeah. Speaking of which, ESPN did a full feature on the Jake Ottinger poll.
I saw that. I got to watch it.
I feel like we're forgetting a little bit. As much as, again, Pete DeBoer sewered him after the game, and that was the part that was bad, Jake Ottinger gave up 2 goals on 2 shots in an elimination game. Kind of got to pull your goalie.
Also didn't have a good series.
Also, yeah, got beat by Stuart Skinner. Who's your daddy? Stuart Skinner is Jake Ottinger.
Dallas Stars are the best team in the league, I guess. Again.
Everyone loves the Dallas Stars.
Fucking year. It drives me insane.
To be fair, they're Carolina West.
Regular season kings.
Yeah, that's a good.
Make it to the conference final, nothing else. Natural Born Griller said, you almost made me spit my coffee out. I'm assuming that's about the Ottinger line. Harrison Cates is with Jeff Jackson at the Board of Governors meeting for the Edmonton Oilers, this via Mark Spector, who I believe is in New York. But there's always kind of been the general sentiment that, like, Harrison is going to run this organization, I'll call it one day. Not the team. He's not going to be GM. Don't worry about that. But I'm really intrigued to see how Harrison Cates' involvement goes over the next few years, because he's someone who, if you want someone who owns this team, and Daryl Cates has passion about the Oilers, like, do not mistake it. But Harrison, I mean, he was up on the stage during the Decade of Darkness. He's the same. He's a similar age to us. Like, if you want a guy running this organization who deeply, deeply cares about delivering a Stanley Cup to Edmonton, the best case scenario is this thing gets handed off to Harrison Cates one day, not sold.
I think this is a good thing.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I don't want to sound morbid, but, like, he's not waiting for his dad to go.
Oh, he's getting in the mix.
He's getting sorted out right now. We're getting ahead of this thing, showing him the ropes. He's not, and he's also just not going as the lone representative. He's going with Jeff Jackson.
He's going to learn.
Yeah, he's going to learn some stuff.
Everything I've heard behind the scenes is that this is not something where it's just going to be, like, handed to him one day, and, like, I don't think he wants that. Everything I've heard, and again, I've never spoken to Harrison Cates about this or whatever, right? But, like, everything I've heard secondhand, we can say, is that, like, they are committed to, like, making sure he knows how to do this and, like, can run the organization.
I'd be curious to know, and some research I have to do for myself, but, like, I wonder what else he's involved in. Like, I wonder, like, if he's taken anything up.
I would love to interview him.
Yeah, I'd love to know. He is listed as a on the leadership. He is listed as an alternate governor on the OEG website.
Very fancy name for someone in their 20s.
Yeah,
that feels like a title you give to old
Tyler,
people.
we were close to interviewing him last year. When I talked to him, I said, if we win the cup, will you come on the show in studio?
Day, yeah.
He said yes. Fortunately, we didn't hold up our end of the bargain, but
goddamn Oilers.
Too bad. He did go to
that's a standing deal, by the way.
And now on his LinkedIn, he went to New York University School of Law.
Wow.
This is a guy that's legit earning this. And I know his dad is his dad.
That's
but,
a
like,
smart cookie.
He's not just being thrown into the deep end and say, okay, Harrison, go play with your new toy. It's like, no, this guy has earned his opportunity to give this a go.
Pro Harrison podcast.
Yeah. Listen up, Harrison. We'd love to be in the arena one day.
What's that red mark on my forehead?
I don't know.
Betting talk for our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Someone in the chat says, who sells the Edmonton City of Champion City? NationGear.ca, playa.
Check it out.
I really like Utah on the puck line against Calgary tonight. Devin Cooley's in net. Calgary blew a lead to Vegas last night.
Devin Cooley. Potentially the worst backup goalie in the NHL.
Plus 110.
Really? I do need some Gunther goals. He's at 2 on the season on my future bets right now. It's good. It's a good thing.
Maybe Gunther point, Utah money line, or Utah puck line. Same game parlay, Reinhart 3 shots and DeBrink at 3 shots. They both hit it in every game. It's plus 190. So those are my 2 NHL picks. Jays facing George Kirby. That makes me very nervous. Shane Bieber, 5+ Ks, plus 125 on Bet365. I'll probably dabble in that market. If you want to back the Toronto Blue Jays with me tonight, here is my official Tyler's same game parlay for the baseball game. Jays win plus 110. Player dinger Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's due. He's going to see one, absolutely barrel it. Player hits, runs, RBIs. George Springer over 1.5. Where's Springer? Why can't I see? Is Springer not playing today?
Where is he?
Then we're going Nathan Lucas to get 2.
Isn't he out?
No, he's in. 13 plus 1,300. Dinger, win, Lucas, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. And there you go. There's your same gamer for tonight's baseball game.
I have one bet. And I just feel like it's the right thing to do.
Moneyline?
I mean, the Buffalo Sabres stink. And Ottawa is only minus 115 to win that game. I feel like Ottawa's good.
Buffalo's going to win eventually. Ottawa has no Brady Tkachuk.
That's fine.
I'm staying away from that one. It makes me a little nervous.
I'm all in. Who's going to play tonight? Levi Marilainen.
Yep. Yeah. All right, that's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Tomorrow, game day program. See what else we got going on a Thursday. We'll get someone to swing by. JLB here.
Remind you about Greta tomorrow.
Yeah.
You guys, if you're not coming to Greta tomorrow, what are you doing? I'll be disappointed in you. You have to come to Greta. Watch party tomorrow night. Doors at 4. Puck drop 5:30 for the hockey game. Giveaways, including a signed jersey, tons of other stuff, and everything's in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. Also going to be some unreal food and drink specials. So again, 5:30 puck drop. You don't have time to cook. Come eat the food at Greta. It will be cheap and on sale, and it'll be delicious. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Thank you to David Pagnotta and to Jeff Marek for swinging by on the show. Have yourselves a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.